we certainly hope that everyone out there in the Student of the Gun audience is enjoying the shows up to this week. We hope you're enjoying your week. I'm enjoying mine, I guess I am. I got to tell you, folks, I am kind of sick to my stomach. I'm upset. I'm disappointed. I'm sad for my nation. And quite frankly, I'm more than a bit concerned. I guess you could say scared. If that's Jared, are you scared for the future of this nation? Do you fear for the future of this nation?
I do. I fear for the future of this nation.
And I'm not joking, and I'm not being glib. And we like to have fun here on Student of the Gun. There's no doubt about that, because we don't always want to be serious, and I like to have a good time. But the news that is out, it broke yesterday. And what's funny about that story, Jared, is it's from the National Review, but it's from a magazine. It's from a magazine that hasn't been published yet. So if you look at it, it says I think it says May 5th or something like that is the story date. So it's like looking into the future. But all right, well, welcome back to Student of the Gun Radio. It is Wednesday, and we hope that everyone who participated in the 24-hour blackout, that you had a good experience, that you learned something maybe about yourself, maybe about your family, maybe about your own preparedness. And Jared, have we been getting any feedbacks on that on the 686 Student of the Gun line?
I have a couple that I haven't listened to yet.
Okay, got a couple new ones. Well, we don't have to put those in today, but well, first and foremost, let's go ahead and move into Wednesday's show by saying, hey, I am still your host, Professor Paul Markle, and that is still Jared over there on the other side of the glass. And we did participate in the 24-hour blackout this Sunday. No emails, no internet, no television, no mobile phones, nothing.
I think I'm going to start doing that once a week.
Yeah, it's a good thing, isn't it? It kind of takes some of the pressure off. But before we do that, because it is Wednesday and it's the middle of the week, we need to take care of some regular business. We need to thank our friends at Century Arms. And if you haven't checked them out lately at centuryarms.com, you need to do that because they got a revamped website. Take the time, go over to centuryarms.com, take a look at some of the new stuff they've got going on there. They're 100% made in the USA AKs, their TP9 SA pistol. So check those guys out. And don't forget about our friends at Crossbreed Holsters as well, crossbreedholsters.com. They don't have a revamped website, but if you need to carry a blaster, if you need to secure a blaster to your body in some form or fashion, they've got something that can help you out. If you want to attach a gun to your mountain bike, they have something for you. You want to put a gun next to your bed or attach it to your bed, they have something for you. You just want to put it on your body, in a regular holster, a boring old regular holster, they got that too. So check them out. Now, well, apparently you guys can't get enough of this. Apparently what we're doing is we're poisoning your little minds. We're affecting your little brains, and you're going throughout the entire day on Wednesday with this little tune in your head. And quite frankly, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Physically fit, physically fit, physically fit, woman, physically fit, physically fit, woman, nice, sweet, fantastic, big body ocean at the big tight and woman, and nice, sweet, energetic, big body ocean at the big tight and woman, nice, sweet, fantastic, big body ocean at the big tight.
Balance is good. That is all. That's this week's fitness tip.
Balance is good.
Yeah, balance is good. No, but I'm really going to talk about balance, and it'll be short and sweet this week. Balance is important, and what is balance important for? Balance is important for shooting. Balance is important for self-defense. Think about it. If you don't have good balance and you get attacked by somebody, or you need to move and shoot, you're not going to do very well. So you need to work on your balance, and you can build your balance by doing several things. Running build balance, stretching, squats, lunges, yoga builds balance. Do you have anything to add there? Dancing. Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Did you read that email?
Yeah, I did. And what's ironic is I wrote an article probably 10 years ago called Do Dancers Make the Best Gunfighters?
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was published in Combat Handguns probably 10 years ago.
Well, if you ask Aaron Little, I'm sure he'll...
I'm sure he would say that absolutely dancers make the best gunfighters.
Yeah. And you can also build balance, obviously, by doing martial arts. Wrestling's a good base to have. You really learn a pretty good amount of balance in wrestling.
Well, aren't you on the ground all the time? Or?
You have to get there first.
Well, I'm sure that a lot of old guys like me in the audience are channeling Mr. Miyagi. Remember lesson about balance? Yeah. Balance, not just about karate. Balance about whole life.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that I butchered Mr. Miyagi there. I'm sure he'll forgive me. But, yeah, balance, not just for karate. Balance for whole life. And, that is true. Balance is for whole life. It's not just about not falling over, although it's important not to fall over. And people say, well, what stance do you use, Paul? I use the Markle stance. I use the don't fall over stance. That is the stance that I use now. I use the remain erect and don't fall over. So that is my shooting stance. That's my shooting platform. But when it comes to balance in your life, not just in martial arts or what have you, the 24-hour blackout was kind of about balance, and it was we said that it was a digital fast, and modern society we've kind of lost the concept of fasting. Now, when I was a kid, I still remember that fasting was a part of, and it may still be part of your religion or your church procedure. When I was young, I believe, I can't remember what specific day. I know I'm going to go to hell for not remembering, but I don't remember what specific days that our church encouraged us to fast, or if it was just in irregular times, what have you. I do, though, remember that on Good Friday, when I was a kid, on Good Friday, all businesses closed from noon to 3. Banks, post offices, everything. That's how far we've gotten away from our roots, Jared. It is. That's how far we've gotten away from our roots. But the 24-hour blackout was a concept that we came up with. And if you didn't participate in it, I hope that you'll take the time to set a date for yourself. It doesn't have to be a specific date. We chose Sunday the 19th because, well, it was the 240th anniversary of the Battle of Lexington and Concord. The shot heard around the world, the actual beginning, the real beginning of the American Revolution. That was a time that sides had been chosen and there was no going back. It was going to happen. Up to that point, it was kind of a, well, what's going to happen? When's it going to happen? Is it going to happen? But, after the lead balls started flying and the cannonballs started flying on April 19th, the die was cast. It was going to happen. We were either going to have our own independent nation or group of nations, as in United States with a capital S, or we were going to be defeated, subjugated, and put back into the box of the British Empire. We were going to be good little colonists underneath the thumb of the king. So I'll tell you what I did, and I hope a lot of you were able to read the After Action newsletter that I sent out to you. If you didn't get that, the reason you didn't get it is because we don't have your email address and you're not on the list, or you unsubscribe because you're like, oh, I already got my free thing. I want to unsubscribe. Hey, rock on. It's your life. Do what you want. I don't care. But I did send an After Action basically describing what we did. I slept late on Sunday. Saturday night, I put the laptop away, shut off the TV. I plugged my phone in so it would have a full charge, but I turned it upside down. And come Sunday morning, I woke up early, and I looked at the clock, and it was like 7:45. And I'm like, dude, it's Sunday morning. I don't have to get up at 7:45. And I went right back to bed. And Jared was at his house, so he was doing his thing, and I was at my house. And with Zach was there. Zach's the face, the person you never see. You just hear about him. But Zach was cooking bacon and eggs.
Oh, bacon and eggs.
Yeah, bacon, because we're freaking Americans. Because we live like Americans.
Yeah, I went out Saturday night after. Yeah, Alex had to work at the club on base, so I just rode with her there, and then we went out to the Hard Rock afterwards. Saw Dixon and went to the club for a little while, and then we went home. And I slept late Sunday too, probably 10, 11 o'clock, something like that. And then, what else did I do? I busted out the floor in the kitchen. In the bathroom, to get to the subflooring, and then what else? I fixed the light fixture, and I did some housework, did some yard work, what else did I read a book.
What book did you read?
I was rereading The Common Sense by Thomas Paine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thanks to and I'm sorry, I don't remember who sent it to us.
It was Kurt.
It was Kurt.
Yeah.
Kurt sent us the Dynamic Freedoms book.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Kurt. Well, as soon as Jared got his, I went online and I found it. And I bought a copy of my own, and so I sat down. It was God blessed us with a beautiful day on Sunday. Did He not, Jared?
He did.
Because it had been raining literally every single day for 8 or 9 days, just constant. We had standing water everywhere, and there was still water in the lawn on Sunday, but at least it stopped raining and we had blue skies. My front lawn looks like you drained a swamp. Really, it does. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
But because it was so nice, I spent a lot of time just sitting on the porch with my books. I've got the book Dynamic Freedoms, which I'm going to tell you this right now, and I'm not going to shut up about it, so just deal with it. This book, Dynamic Freedoms, it's a hardcover book, and it was published, I believe, in 1970. It was either 69 or 70. And what the funny thing is, I'm looking in the front. I'm looking for a published date, and there is not one, which is strange. And I even went to Amazon, and I don't think it had a published date on Amazon. But I can tell you this, that Richard Nixon was the current president at the time when this book was published. So, but what is in this book? Well, what's in this book is information that every single one of you and every single one of your children should have been made aware of and had to read when they went through school, like the Mayflower Compact from 1620. Yeah, that's right. The Call to Arms by Patrick Henry. Basically, it was after April 19th, after the events of April 19th, 1775. Patrick Henry went before the Continental Congress and gave his speech and said, look, it's go time. The Declaration of Independence, yes, the entire Declaration of Independence, not just the first couple paragraphs that people like to repeat or the first paragraph, but the entire thing. And how many of you know that the entire Declaration of Independence was more than just the when in the course of human events? Because in there it goes on to, basically declare what they were mad about. These are our grievances. And I've got some of them highlighted right here. And they're talking about the king, and then they say he. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for their tenure in offices and the amount of payments of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of the legislature. He is affected to render the military independent of superior civil power. Right here. He has combined with others to subject us to jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution. I want you to remember that. Jurisdiction that is foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws. Think about that. Quartering troops, protecting them from mock trial and punishment and so forth, impose taxes without the consent of the people, and he's excited domestic insurrections amongst us. Are there any domestic insurrections that are going on in the United States of America today? Folks, I tell you what, you read the Declaration of Independence, and then the entire Constitution is in there, and not the entire Bill of Rights, because up to that point, there was only, let me see how many were there when Nixon was still president. How many articles in the Bill of Rights? I believe it was...
While he's looking for that,
I'm looking for that.
If you guys participated in the blackout on Sunday, call us and let us know how it went and what you learned. And that's what I want to know from you guys is, what did you learn from that experience? And you can call and leave a voicemail at 682-207-7684 or 682-207-SOTG. Leave us a voicemail, and I'd like to hear what you guys have to say, and hopefully I can play it on the air too. Do you find it yet over there?
Yeah, well, there was 25 at the time. Excerpts from the Federalist Papers, Washington's farewell address. Ladies and gentlemen, if you call yourself a patriot, if you love this nation, if you love the United States of America as it was founded, you need to read George Washington's farewell address. It was published on September 19th, 1796, and in the farewell address, Washington gives stern warnings. It says, one of the expedients of party is to acquire influence within particular districts in order to misrepresent the opinions and aims of the districts. You cannot shield yourselves too much against the jealousies and heartburnings which spring from these misrepresentations. He warned us about hardcore party politics. Ooh. Wow. In 1776, Washington knew what was coming. And he says, now listen to this, Jared. This is going to make chills go up and down your spine. And this is talking about party politics. And it says, the alternate dominion of one faction over another, sharpened by the spirit of revenge natural to party dissension, when in different ages and countries have been perpetrated to the most horrid enormities, is in itself a frightful despotism.
Wow.
Washington, in his farewell address, warned against the dangers of hardcore party politics and that one party may seek revenge against another
That kind of
and
fits right in
perpetrate horrid enormities itself and is itself a frightful despotism.
That kind of fits right in with what we're going to talk about today.
Man, I tell you, this book is called Dynamic Freedoms. And I put a link in for you guys on the letter that I sent out. I think if you can get a new copy or an undistributed copy. It's not a new book, obviously. It's been around for a long, long time. But you can get, I believe, an undistributed copy or a like new copy for $3.99. This book is worth $39.99. This book, what is in this book, the information that's in this book, is worth it's
priceless.
It's priceless. It really is, because it is information. It leads to freedom. It leads to thought. It leads to independent thought. And folks, if you know nothing else, if you learn nothing else from listening to Student of the Gun Radio, Student of the Gun Radio is not about playing with guns. It's not about talking just about firearms. The primary focus of the firearm or the gun from Student of the Gun is that the gun is an instrument of liberty. Primarily, first and foremost. And after you have secured your liberty, like, well, what do you mean secured your liberty? I already have it. No, you don't. Liberty is not a default. It just doesn't automatically happen. Every single generation has to secure liberty for itself and its posterity. And for those of you that went to public school in the last 20 years, that means your kids and your grandkids and the people that come after you. And the only way that you can do that is to be aware of the past. That's right, the past. Jared, what are you thinking over there?
I'm trying not to think because it hurts my brain.
Does it hurt your brain?
Yeah. They taught me not to think in school.
And listen to this. And I'm gonna use another quote from Patrick Henry in his Call to Arms. And it says, I have but one lamp by which my feet are guided, and that is the lamp of experience. History.
Wow.
Understanding where we came from. You can't look to the future and hope that things will be this way. Do you want to know how things are going to be tomorrow? How things are going to be next year, next month, 10 years from now? Look to the past. Look to the past. Look to what has happened. Because like Solomon said, there is nothing new under the sun. How many of you knew that Solomon said that?
Oh, everybody that's listening.
Everyone that's
told
listening.
them before.
That's right. So the 24-hour blackout, essentially, it gave us the opportunity to tune out and minimize distractions. It was the whole point, was just to minimize the distractions. And what I found is by minimizing the distractions, I didn't have to check emails, I didn't have to post anything, I didn't have to tweet or twit or nothing. I was able to get a lot of reading done. During the day, I probably spent 2 or 3 hours reading between the Dynamic Freedoms book and another book called Don't Tread on Me, which I'll talk to you guys about later. I had a cigar. Yes, I did. And, we kind of celebrated. I knew that it was going to be a special day. So, a couple of days before I went to the store, I got a couple of good steaks. I got a 6-pack of Shiner Bock. Thank you very much. I had a good hand rolled cigar all waiting for me. So
Can you get Yingling down here?
yeah, you can get Yingling here.
That's what I thought. I thought they had it at Walmart.
You just can't get it in Kentucky,
Okay.
but you can get it here.
Yeah, because somebody asked me that the other day, and they're like,
Yeah.
We can't get Yingling. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
You can get you can get Shiner Bock here, but you can't get Ziegenbach.
Yeah.
You can only get Ziegenbach in Texas, at least right now. So, and according to our friend Paul, it's people ask him all the time, how come you don't have this? He goes, do you have any idea how many breweries there are, and how long it takes the trucks to get from there to there? Well, they should just load up a truck in Texas in the morning and drive it over here and call it good. Give me what I want. But in addition to the reading and relaxing and so forth, and I did squeeze in a nap in the afternoon. I sorted through some of the emergency preparedness gear. I went to the hurricane locker and kind of inventoried, see what we need. I picked up a few things yesterday and the day before at the store to kind of fill the locker up. Didn't really do any yard work because, quite frankly, the yard was still too wet. And I did start, Jared, I don't know if I shared this with you or not, but I did start taking notes for the new Patriot Fire Team manual book. I scratched out a whole bunch of notes, probably 2 or 3 pages worth of notes, and I did start taking photographs because when I was inventorying the emergency gear, I thought, well, as long as I got it out, I might as well get out my DSLR camera and shoot some photos.
Well, now we're going to have people like chomping at the bit, asking us when that's going to be done.
Well, yeah, it's in the works, but if you don't already have the Patriot Fire Team book itself, then get that first, and then you can get the second one. How's that sound? Because that lays the foundation. The first book, the Patriot Fire Team book, lays the foundation. It's the why is this even important? Before we talk about how and what, you need to talk about why. You need to understand why. Because there's no point in talking about guns and gear and thises and that's if you don't understand the concept behind it and why it's important to you. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that. I hope you took the time to spend some time with your family. I even played cards. We played rummy. I taught Zach how to play rummy. Zach didn't know how to play rummy, but he knows now. And
I haven't played rummy in a while.
He was so excited. The one time, it was like once or twice, he drew a card from the deck, and there's the discard pile and there's the deck. So he draws a card from the discard pile, and it's something he needs. He looks down at the deck and he's like, and he starts grabbing. I'm like, no, one or the other. You can't take from the deck and then the discard pile.
Yeah.
He's like, I was excited. I was like, that's okay. And you know who taught me how to play rummy?
Who?
My grandmother. My maternal grandmother, when we used to go on camping trips.
Oh, really?
Yep. And when I was a kid, we'd go on camping trips, and even though we had one of those little, like, 6-inch screen black and white TVs in the camper.
I don't remember those at all.
Yeah, we were usually so far away from civilization that you couldn't get a channel anyway. It's just all fuzz or whatever. That was
kind of hook your Xbox into them?
Yeah, no, I don't think you could hook your Xbox into the little 6-inch.
Did they even have video games back then?
Well, it wasn't till they did. They had ColecoVision, and then they had Pong. Pong, and then they.
Hey, I like Pong.
Actually,
I can play Pong now.
Pong. You used to plug Pong into your antenna outlet. They had an antenna adapter, an antenna outlet in the back of the TV, and that's what you plugged Pong into. And we did.
It's called an Ajax.
Whatever. But we actually did that for on a black and white TV. We had a portable black and white TV. And we plugged because Pong was just black and white anyway, so it didn't matter. But Pong, you could also play tennis and squash. And what was the difference between tennis and squash, Jared?
No clue.
The width of the paddles, the width of the little bar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the squash it was smaller, so it was harder to play. All right, we're memory laning it now. That's not what we're all about.
You want to put on your storytelling voice?
Oh, do I?
So you can tell a story. First, before I let him get into this story here, I'll take a second to acknowledge our sponsors, Velocity Triggers. They're designed for precision. And thank you guys who are at NRA, thank you for visiting Tom and letting him know that you're a student of the gun. And then Brownells as well. Oh, I got an email back from Ryan Rep. I sent him the Blaze links.
Did you send those out?
Yeah, he said that
cool.
they were great stories, and then obviously great exposure for student of the gun, but he appreciated them.
Oh, cool.
Ryan Rep from Brownells, brownells.com. They've been serious about firearms since 1939.
That's what I heard.
That's what I heard, too. And if you guys haven't checked out their rebranding that they've done, they got a new logo. They've got a bunch of new stuff, and they've what is today? Today is
Wednesday the 22nd.
Yeah, Wednesday the 22nd. So you've got less than a week or about a week, I guess, a little bit more than a week to get in on the gun giveaway that they're doing if you sign up for the Edge program at Brownells.
Okay. All right. Imagine if you will, you're a student of the gun listener. I'm assuming that you are either libertarian or conservative, but either way, the fact that you're listening to my voice right now tells me that you desire to pay attention to what's going on around you. You pay attention to politics. You pay attention to who the leaders are, who your elected leaders are, what's going on in your state, county, district. Okay. And that's a good thing. That's part of being an American citizen, is that you are allowed, because believe it or not, in a lot of countries, you really aren't allowed to participate or encouraged to participate in the political process. You just kind of have to sit in the middle and suck on it, and they tell you who's going to be in charge of you. So here in the United States of America, it is an American tradition, and it should be, because that's how we were founded, to actually participate in the system, in the political system. And you say, well, I think it should be a law that everyone has to wear, a yellow shirt on Tuesdays. And if you are super passionate about that, and you can convince enough of your friends, then you can get you can get it on the county ballot that every Tuesday will be Yellow Shirt Day. Okay. Is that constitutional? Probably not. But what the heck? If you're really super passionate about yellow shirts, and you can get enough people, and you can come up with an advocacy group, yellowshirttuesday.com, and you raise lots and lots of money, well then, okay, we'll do that. That's part of it. Or let's say you don't like yellow shirts or whatever. Let's say that you've decided that the train has gone off the tracks, and we are not where we need to be in the United States of America, that we're slipping farther and farther and farther away from the principles which were used to found this nation, the greatest nation in the history of the world. If you don't think that, stop right now. Now, if you're currently living in Ireland or Sweden or Australia or merry old England, okay, I'll give you a pass. But if you're currently residing within the borders of the United States of America, and you're listening to my voice, and you don't think the United States of America is the greatest nation in the history of the world, I don't want you to listen to me anymore, because you cannot be reached. Oh, that's really harsh, Paul, but you have to have listeners. No, I don't have to have anything, and I don't want people who don't believe that America... our good friend Jay Gibson said there's a basic... No matter what's going on in the United States right now, what your opinions are about X or Y or Z, there's a basic question that you can ask people, inquire of people, to know exactly where their minds are. And you say to them this, you say, America is right, yes or no? And if they say anything but yes, then you know exactly that you're dealing with somebody that's either an apologist, or they're a coward, they're a sunshine patriot, they're people that, well, yeah, but I understand that we're not perfect. No one is perfect. No country is perfect. No people are perfect. But America is right, yes or no. And I'm going to give you a quick quote. This isn't from the very beginning of the book I mentioned, Don't Tread on Me. And it's from Commodore Stephen Decatur, 1816. And you probably are aware of this. Our country, in her intercourse with foreign nations, may she be right, or may she be in the right, but our country, right or wrong. And that's basically kind of a paraphrasing of what Jay said. America is right, yes or no. And if somebody says, well, but, or if they say no, then you know who you're talking about, too. Imagine this. So you're participating in the political process like a good American citizen. And maybe your participation doesn't go any farther than voting once in a while, but you decided to get, you're super serious about Amendment 10 or about Proposition 14 or whatever. So you decide, you're going to dig into your checkbook and you're going to donate to either an advocacy or a campaign fund to promote Proposition 45, or you want to give some money to somebody that's running for state senate or governor or what have you. So you do that. You write the check, you get out your credit card, you give them $50, you give them $100. You go online and you sign their petition to support Proposition 45. Support it.
Are you impotent?
I am impotent. Okay. But you do that and you think, all right, well, you feel pretty good about yourself. You say, hey, or maybe you get really excited and you get on your laptop and you go to the, support Proposition 45 website and you copy and paste it and you share it with all of your friends in your email list. You tell all of your friends, hey, go and check this. You think, all right, I'm doing something good here. I gave them some money. I shared the website. I told my friends, don't forget Tuesday is election day. Get out and vote. Support Proposition 45. You're feeling pretty good about yourself. You're just a regular person. You got a normal job. You may have a wife or a husband. You got some kids maybe. Just an average person. You're not a terrorist. You're not a drug dealer. You're not a convicted felon. You're not somebody that's on supervised adult probation. You're just a dude or a dudette. So you turn off the lights at 10:30 at night. Kids are all tucked in. Go to sleep. And you're awakened 1:45 a.m. by noise. Boom, 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 boom. You spring up out of bed in a panic. Because let's face it, once you get into that deep REM sleep, when you're in, the dogs are going crazy, barking, just that insane barking that something's out there. You know that it wasn't just a motorcycle that drove by because the dogs won't shut up. They're freaking out. So you spring up out of bed, you run into the hallway, you look down the door, and you see lights. Lights are focusing in your eyes. And you see men's faces in your front window, and they're pounding on the door, and they're screaming at you, open up, open your door, I demand you, open. What's going on, I don't know what's going on. Open the door. You come up and you see a shield. You see a shiny badge on one of their shirts. So you're like, oh, well, something, I don't know what's going on, it's the police. You unlock the door, and they push the door open, and they shove past you, grab you, push you up against the wall, and a dozen officers rush into your house. They rush into your house. They go into your children's bedrooms. They grab your spouse. They pull you all. They line you up. They put you in the living room, make you sit down on the couch, and they start rifling through your possessions. And you demand to know what's going on. Why are they doing this? Show me your warrant. And they tell you to shut up and sit down. Don't talk. They go and they grab your computer. They take your phones. They grab your kid's iPad. Load them all up in boxes. Rip through the house, tip over things, pull out drawers. Take your property out of your house. Don't arrest you. Then they tell you you're currently under investigation. And if you tell anyone, you're going to be in contempt of court. If you call your lawyer, we're going to have you in contempt of court. We're going to lock you up. If you tell your neighbors or your family that this happened, you're going to be in contempt of court. We're going to take you to jail. And they leave. And there you are, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, stunned. Your house is wrecked. Your children are terrified. They're crying because they don't understand what just happened to them. What was your crime? Your crime was supporting the wrong political cause. Your crime was giving money to a candidate that someone didn't like. Someone in power did not like them. And you say, okay, that's nice, Paul. That's nice that you just spun me this yarn. That's from some type of a dystopian future movie, and that means not utopian, but the opposite of utopia, bad stuff. That's something from a movie about the Stasi in East Germany, maybe KGB, old school Gestapo tactics. You say that those things happen in communist countries. Those things happen under communists, like in Venezuela or Cuba, East Germany, Czechoslovakia, Poland, China. Those things happen in China today, but they don't happen in the United States of America. That would never happen here. And here's what I'm going to tell you. That not only would happen here. It has happened here, and it is happening here in the borders of the United States of America. And, it's May 4th, Jared. The source right here that we have is thenationalreview.com. It's a story by David French. And the post date for this is April 20th, 2015. But the issue of National Review, it says it's from the May 4th issue of National Review. They're still doing that whole newsstand paper dating. You guys know when you were kids and you grew up and it was May and you were buying the July issue of Spider-Man. And you're like, how can that happen? It's only May and it's a July issue. That's how papers work. That's how magazines work. They always get ahead of themselves. Now, let me tell you a little bit about David French before we get into it, the author of the story. And this story is long. It's several pages long. And the thing is, I can't read you the entire thing on the radio. I can't read you the entire story on the radio because you'll get tired of hearing my voice. Well, okay, maybe you might not get tired of hearing my voice. But this is, I believe the entire story is 11 pages long. And I don't do this. I don't often give homework assignments, or I don't often give absolutes. David French is an attorney, a writer, and a veteran of the Iraq War. This is his first article to appear in the National Review. This article first appeared in the May 4th, 2015 issue of National Review. Okay, so we're like in the future with that. Well, Paul, where did this happen and how did it happen? Well, it happened in the state of Wisconsin. And if you're living up north, you probably know about this, or you may have heard about it. But the reason you haven't heard about it anywhere else in the United States was because the Democrat, hardcore partisan prosecuting attorney in Milwaukee County and a cooperating judge, Democrat, hardcore leftist judge, worked in cahoots to come up with listen to this, a John Doe investigation. And you're like, what the heck is a John Doe investigation? That doesn't even sound right to me. I don't know what that is. Essentially, it is an investigation where the executive branch, law enforcement, has decided in order to get around the necessity for a grand jury. I'm sorry, Paul, did you say get around? I thought maybe there was this thing called the Bill of Rights. You might have heard of it. It's a quaint little piece of paper. It's called the Bill of Rights, and in the Bill of Rights, something like the Fourth or Fifth Amendment to the Bill of Rights says that you will be given a jury or in matters of import, felonies, and so forth, that you have to go through a grand jury. No. What they've decided here is that they've come up with this concept in, and I hope it doesn't. We need to find out right now if this John Doe concept is alive in Mississippi, and if it is, we've got to take steps to make people aware of it. To get around grand juries, so they don't have to name the specific people, and they don't have to make it public. So they take a whole and the name. I'm looking in here. Jared, go ahead and talk to people for a second.
Ann. Are you looking for Ann?
No, No. I'm looking for the name of the prosecutor.
Oh, I don't know. But this is ridiculous. And then I'm going to give you some of this. It says the warnings here. It says, don't call your lawyer. Don't tell your friends about this raid. Don't tell anyone about this raid, not even your mother, your father, or your closest friends. If you have to be told that by a law enforcement officer, and they're not even law enforcement officers because they're not enforcing the law.
No.
They're
stormtroopers.
Debris, yeah.
They're stormtroopers. They're Gestapo. This is Stasi tactics. Ladies and gentlemen, persecuting people, terrorizing people, traumatizing people for the crime of donating money or supporting a political cause. And I'm not talking about the American Communist Party. I'm talking about the opposite of the Democrat Party. All right, on the ground, the reality, so-called John Doe investigations, expansive and secret criminal proceedings.
Why would they need to be secret? Who are they trying to protect?
And are we going after the mafia here? Are we going after the Cali cartel? Are we going after Mexican drug cartels? No, we give them money. We give them guns. Now, here we go. The Milwaukee, remember this name. Listen to me. the Milwaukee District Attorney's Office, headed by John Chisholm, Chisholm, they began an investigation, which sounded innocuous at the beginning. And first, they went after Scott Walker, who was running for governor, and then they continued to go after Scott Walker. And then after they went after Scott Walker with a bunch of bullcrap charges, none of them ever stuck, and he defeated them, then they went after anybody who was conservative, anybody who supported, I believe it was Proposition or Amendment 10 in the state of Wisconsin. And the cooperating judge in this case, so Chisholm comes up with a whole fistful of, he finds out who the people are that donated to these causes, who donated money to Scott Walker, who supported his campaign, who donated money to Act 10, it was called Act 10, for union reforms in Wisconsin, who supported Act 10, who donated money to it. They pulled the records, and if you did that, you were on the hit list. He took a fistful of warrants, hands them over to this judge, Judge Barbara Kluka. There's a lot of K's in that name. And, yeah, she does her due diligence. She approves all the warrants in one day. So she obviously really closely scrutinized these warrants. And they start executing no-knock raids at people, citizens, not drug dealers, not terrorists, people whose crime was donating money or their time to a cause that Chisholm and Kulka didn't approve of. So they used the police, because it's not, the judge and the prosecuting attorney aren't going to come to your house at 2 a.m. and kick in your door. It's not going to be them. No, they're going to use the police as their arm, as their stormtroopers. And even though this is now coming to light, and this was going on, it started in 2009 and went through 2010, 11, 12, 13. You're just now hearing about this. And so you're saying to yourself, as a reasonable person, as a person who loves America, who looks at the flag and then says, I know we have our differences, but deep down inside, everyone, Democrat, Republican, really loves the country. Really, we have a different way of talking about it. You still want to believe that. You still want to believe in your heart that no one would deliberately abuse the system, that they would ignore the Constitution, that they would use their power as a prosecuting attorney or a sitting judge to terrorize and abuse people who were on the opposite political party. And you're just now finding this out. And you say, well, all right, these names that you just told me, Paul, these people have to be currently under arrest. They have to be currently under indictment. Maybe they're out on bail, but certainly they're under indictment. They're not. They're not incarcerated. They used their positions in government to terrorize citizens into silence. Do you understand this? This is not fantasy. This isn't something from a book or a novel. This is the nation that Madison, that Jefferson, that George Washington, that they warned us of. And this is what I'm going to close with right now. And I want you to go to studentofthegunradio.com, and I want you to click on that link. We've shared it on all of our social media sites. This is too important. This story is too important for you not to read and not to share. But I'm going to ask you this. If these people can do this and get away with it, then I want you to tell me, what is there to stop? You say, I vote, I this, I that. All of you people out there who tell me, I'm in my state fighting the good fight. I'm in New York. I'm in New Hampshire. I'm in wherever. Do you don't understand, Paul? I'm here. I'm fighting the good fight. You're fighting the good fight? Is your name on a list? Or can you look forward to a 2 a.m. no-knock raid to seize your computers and phones and anything else that they want to take? Because your name's on a list, and that list is counter to the current ruling class in your state or city or county? If these people can get away with this, if they can go unpunished, there is absolutely no way you can convince me that this will not happen. or is not currently happening in Massachusetts, in New York, in California, in Maryland, in Illinois. Tell me that it can't happen to you. Tell me you don't have sitting district attorneys who are politicians. Tell me you don't have sitting judges that owe their allegiance to some Democrat governor somewhere. Tell me that doesn't happen. You have to tell every single patriot that you know. You have to tell them about this. You cannot let this story go away. You know that MSNBC and CNN are going to, oh, well, you know, some mistakes were made, but there's an internal investigation going on, and don't worry about it. Just go back to Dancing with the Stars. You can't do it. Jared, go ahead.
I was just reading right here. It says between May 5th, 2010 and May 3rd, 2012. So that's effectively 2 years. Twice 24 months. The Milwaukee defendants filed at least 18 petitions in 24 months, and they were all granted. So it break that down. That's like a couple months apiece. So do they really have time to actually examine these, why they need to formally enlarge the scope of the John Doe investigation, or are they just blindly letting that happen?
And if these people are criminals, if they're genuine criminals, if they're genuine people that need to be locked up, why were they never charged with criminal charges? Why were they not arrested? Why were they not taken away? All right, folks, I didn't want to bring you down, but you absolutely 100% have to know about this. And we're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to be talking about more stuff, but I don't know what to tell you. Carry on. And with that, Jared's going to go ahead and...
My Wayward Son.
That's right, carry on.
I'm not going to play that song.
Carry on, carry off, and
cue up something.
Carry now. You got to be a student for life.